Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle.
I'm Atticus.
And I'm Philly.
While every episode of Fun Facts Daily is clean and appropriate for listeners of all ages, on the first Friday of every month, I like to do a Family Fun Friday with my kids co-hosting as we explore a topic they're interested in. Philly has been working hard to teach herself to speak Swedish.
So today, we're going to learn all about Sweden's capital, Stockholm.
But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. When we watch movies about museum heists, they're always full of high-octane action, explosions, and daring getaways. But most criminologists will tell you that real-life art theft is usually quiet, stealthy, and frankly, a little bit boring. But is that always the case? Is it possible that a real-life museum robbery in Stockholm once involved car bombs, submachine guns, and a high-speed boat chase, like a James Bond movie in real life?
We'll find out at the end of the episode.
Now for your word of the day.
Today's word is lagom. That's L-A-G-O-M. This is a distinctly Swedish concept that roughly translates to not too little, not too much, just right. However, it's more than just a measurement. It's a philosophy that is deeply ingrained in the Swedish national character and social conduct.
The word lagom is widely believed to have come from the Viking era phrase laget om, meaning around the team or around the group. The story goes that when Vikings would pass around a horn of mead, honey-based drink, everyone was expected to sip just their fair share. Not so much that there wouldn't be enough for the others, but not so little that they appeared rude. Today, lagom represents the idea of balance, moderation, and social equality. It encourages people to find contentment in having enough rather than chasing excess, creating a harmonious society where consensus and fairness are key. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Stockholm.
Number 1. Stockholm is often called the Venice of the North because the city is built entirely on water.
The city center of Stockholm is actually situated across 14 distinct islands that are connected by 57 bridges. This unique geography means that whenever you're in the city, you're never far from the water, and the layout separates different districts into unique neighborhoods. The watery landscape is actually the result of a fascinating geological history dating back to the last ice age. Around 10,000 years ago, the heavy weight of massive glaciers pushed the Earth's crust down, and now that the ice is gone, the land is slowly rising back up in a process called isostatic rebound. The land around Stockholm rises about 4 millimeters every year. This means the geography of the city is constantly, albeit slowly, changing. Waterways that were once navigable by Vikings are now dry land.
Number 2. Stockholm is home to the world's longest art gallery, but you'll need a train ticket to see it.
Deep underground, the Stockholm metro system, known as Tunnelbana, features over 90 stations that have been decorated with paintings, mosaics, sculptures, and rock formations by over 150 different artists. The tradition started in the 1950s to make art accessible to the public in their daily lives. Today, for the price of a single metro ticket, you can travel through 110 kilometers of stunning, colorful caverns that look like everything from prehistoric caves to futuristic video game levels. What makes it even more impressive from an engineering and geological standpoint is that many stations preserve the raw, exposed bedrock rather than covering it with concrete. Stockholm sits on the Baltic Shield, a segment of the Earth's crust that contains some of the oldest rocks in Europe, formed nearly 2 billion years ago. By leaving this ancient granite exposed and painting directly onto it, the architects created a grotta cave atmosphere that helps combat the claustrophobia some people feel underground, seamlessly blending ancient natural history with modern human creativity.
Number 3. One of Stockholm's most famous museums is dedicated to a massive failure.
The Vasa Museum houses the Vasa, a 17th century warship that was meant to be the pride of the Swedish fleet, but sank just 20 minutes into its maiden voyage in 1628 because it was too top-heavy. The cold, brackish waters of the Stockholm harbor actually preserved the wooden ship almost perfectly for 333 years until it was salvaged in 1961. It's now the only preserved 17th century ship in the world, and visitors can see the intricate carvings and engineering of a vessel that's 98% original, turning a historic embarrassment into a world-class treasure. The sinking of the Vasa actually gives us a perfect little physics lesson regarding the center of gravity versus the center of buoyancy. The King of Sweden insisted on adding a second row of heavy cannons on the upper deck, which raised the ship's center of gravity drastically high. Because the underwater hull was too narrow to counter this weight, the ship acted like an unstable lever. A slight breeze was all it took to tip the vessel past its tipping point, allowing water to rush into the open gun ports. It remains a timeless reminder for engineers and designers that you can't cheat the laws of physics, no matter how powerful the person ordering the ship might be.
Number 4. The city hosts one of the most prestigious dinner parties on the planet every December. I'm talking about the Nobel Prize Awards.
While the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded in Norway, all the other Nobel Prizes, physics, chemistry, physiology, medicine, and literature, are awarded in Stockholm at the concert hall, followed by a massive banquet at the Stockholm City Hall. The chefs spend months planning the menu, and the service is timed to the second with hundreds of waiters serving thousands of guests in perfect unison. It's a celebration of human achievement that turns the city into the intellectual capital of the world for 1 week every year. Interestingly, while we associate the Nobel Prize with peace and other wonderful human achievements, the history is really kind of a redemption story. Alfred Nobel was the Swedish chemist who invented dynamite, which made him incredibly wealthy, but also feared as a merchant of death. Legend has it that after reading a premature obituary that condemned him for creating a weapon of destruction, Nobel decided to change his legacy. He used his background in science and his massive fortune to establish a trust in his will, ensuring he would be remembered not for how his inventions destroyed, but for how he rewarded those who conferred the greatest benefit to humankind.
Number 5. Stockholm contains the sun for the world's largest scale model of the solar system.
The Avicii Arena, formerly known as the Globe, is the largest spherical building in the world that represents the sun in the Sweden solar system. The scale model spans the entire country of Sweden, with the inner planets located within Stockholm city limits, while the outer planets are placed north along the Baltic Sea. To get a sense of the scale, the model of Neptune is located 142 miles away in a completely different city. It's one of the best ways on Earth you can get a true sense of the vastness of space. The model is built on a scale of 1 to 20 million, which is a number that honestly, it's hard for me to wrap my brain around, but it does give us a little glimpse at some of the astronomical math involved in space travel.
Now for some news you can use. If you are planning a trip to Stockholm, leave your wallet at home and rely on your card or phone because Sweden is one of the most cashless societies in the world.
Many visitors are surprised to find signs in shops, cafes, and even public transportation indicating that they don't accept cash. Using digital payments is safer and more efficient for businesses, and many locals haven't carried paper money in years. So, to avoid the awkwardness of trying to pay with bills that no one wants, make sure your bank card is travel ready and tap to pay enabled. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for.
At the beginning of the episode, we asked if Stockholm was the site of a real-life museum heist as wild as the movies.
That's a fact, folks. It's true.
In December of 2000, thieves targeted the National Museum of Stockholm in a robbery that criminologists called one of the most spectacular in history. To distract the police, the thieves set off car bombs on opposite sides of the city, pulling emergency responders away from the museum. While the police were distracted, 3 men entered the museum with submachine guns. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but they did steal some paintings by Rembrandt and Renoir. As they fled, they threw spikes onto the road to pop the tires of pursuing police cars before making their escape on a speedboat waiting in the harbor. It was like a scene straight out of an action movie, proving that sometimes reality is just as dramatic as fiction. And just like the movies, there was a happy ending. All the paintings were eventually recovered and in dramatic fashion. Law enforcement caught the thieves when they were doing surveillance of international organized crime, and they set up a sting operation where they recovered the artwork as a nice little bonus.
I hope you enjoyed learning about Stockholm, Sweden with us today. I hope you have a wonderful day.
And be sure to tune in every weekday for more fun facts.
Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by us, Kyle, Atticus, and Philly. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with us. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.